Dreamers. Perla here, as always. And thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start Aries. Okay, so Aries, the key of something is the key is being handed to you. The key, and that's the way I keep on looking. It's like the key. Here's the key. Aries, here's the key. Here's the key to the door you want open. Here's the key to, and I mean, this door is going to be many different things for many different people. Like if you are, if the part of your journey right now, it's in regards to love, it's in regards to your finances, it is in regards to your self-esteem, whatever it is, you're being handed the key. And it's like, here is the key, Aries, take it. It is time. It is time for you to walk through that door. It is time for you to receive this. It is time for you to to embrace this, to enjoy this. Now, I see you, Aries, kind of in this space of either second guessing yourself or doubting yourself when it comes to moving forward with something. For those of you that this is romantically, there is this hesitation of, and it is not necessarily like whether you want it or not. You're asking yourself whether you are ready for this or not. Are you ready to jump back into the dating scene, or are you ready to be in that space of like messing around, whatever it is romantically that you're seeking to do, or whatever it is that you want to experience. Some of you are still in a space of like doubting yourself whether you're ready for it or not. And if you have been asking for clarity, if you've been asking for help in this specific area of your life, and something, somebody's finally showing up, or, you're being asked on dates and this, and there's connections that are being made, then if you're receiving it, it's because you're ready. That's the way that I look at it. When I am not ready for something, I heartily believe that if I'm not ready for something, I will not receive it. So I do not ask for something unless I feel and I know that I know that I know that I am ready to receive it, right? And for everybody, that's going to look differently. So what is it now that after you've asked for something and literally spirit is coming to you, he's like, spirit is coming to you, and it's like, here is the key, Aries. Here is the key, Aries. What is Aries gonna do? Is Aries going to like follow through, or are they just gonna sit there and stare at the door? Right. And these are kind of like, again, what is the energy that is behind this? Why are you being hesitant about receiving something that you've been asking for, right? Like you've been asking for love, you've been asking for financial abundance, you've been whatever it is, right? Like if it is financial abundance, it's like spirit is like, okay, here's the key. The key can come in a form of a collaboration with somebody else. The key can come in a form of a new job offer or a freelancing or whatever it is. And you're hesitant, right? You're hesitant to take that key. You're hesitant to take that step forward. And you have to ask yourself why. What is it that is beneath this? For some of you, there is this shadow of the past that keeps on like lingering around. So whenever you're about to have breakthrough in your life, whoo, okay, that's what it was this morning. Whenever you're about to have breakthrough in your life, there is this space of you that, whether it is through thoughts or just through physical feelings, brings you back to the past. And the reason why I said, oh, there it is from this morning I woke up and I was feeling certain things and I'm like, what is this, right? And I had already set the intention that I was going to be recording today. So, and I really do love the way that messages come in for me, right? They come in physically, like through my dreams. They come in when I'm in the wake state, when I'm doing things throughout the day. And I'm like, oh, I see this energy, but what is it in relation to? And the energy specifically that I'm talking about from this morning is this fearful energy, like this energy that overtakes your entire body, but you are unaware of where it is. And I just, when I felt it this morning, I was like, oh, I see you. When you're ready to reveal what you are, you will. So now it is coming through. And this energy is this energy of whenever you're stepping into something new, there's always hesitation. Regardless of how many times you've had new endeavors, new things be extremely successful for you, there's still like an initial fear of like something not working out for you, or fear that something is not going to work in your favor, or that is going to come with more trials, or something of that matter. And it's like, baby, come on, you're no longer in that space. Like how many more times does the spirit have to show you that you no longer have to live under that energy, right? That that you have put in the work that needed to be done, right? And it's more this time for you about letting things go that are seriously no longer serving you. So when this energy creeps up again, meet it where it is, and let you know, say thank you. You know what? Thank you. When I needed you, when I was unaware or was unsure of this or that, you were there for me, but I no longer need you. You served your purpose, and I thank you, and I release you. I release you from my heart. I release you from my energetic field. I release you, and go, like, integrate it back into the universe, integrate it back into spirit, however it is that you want to word it, whatever words feel comfortable, right? You do not have to use my words, please, 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 please. Everything that we give, every advice that we give, anything that we teach, we I personally, let's put it this way, I personally always tell people, always change words around to something that your body, your spirit is going to accept, and it is not going to reject, right? So the way that I am talking to these specific energies, the examples that I'm using, it is something that it comes very naturally to me. It is the dialogue of how I connect with these energies, okay? So for me, yes, meeting an energy and saying, you know what, thank you, babe, thank you for the lessons, thank you for everything that you taught me, but you can go, you can go, be free, you can go and teach somebody else, you can go and help somebody else on their journey. Now you're no longer needed in the space. And that is kind of like the energy that you need to take with this, like, yeah, this is the energy that you need to take with this energy, because again, whatever this energy was meant to teach you, whatever this energy was meant to bring to light, it has brought it to light, but some of you are unaware that you're still holding on to it, or you're still expecting this energy to teach you something, and it has nothing more to teach you, so it's time to release it. Okay. All right, give me a closing message for Aries. Closing message for Aries, good. The star seed, what lights you up? For some of you, you are going to have to ask yourself, what is it that, what is this door that you want to open, right, with this key? What is it that you think that this is going to bring? What possibilities, what opportunities do you think that this, whatever it is that you're asking for, like, okay, if you're asking for financial freedom, what is it for? And what is the purpose of that financial freedom, that what is the purpose of that love? And when you start to ask these questions and really answer them, you'll start to see how things starts to shift, right? Because you're no longer asking from a space of like needing and wanting, but it's almost kind of like when you're completely honest with yourself, when you're completely honest with what you're asking for, that energy of, that the energy of manifestation, things start to happen for you. Yep. Okay, Taurus. um you're walking in the ashes of someone else's downfall, and as much as I don't like to word things like that, that is the way that is pretty much coming in. And what I mean by that is, there may have been somebody in your life that may have been talking. Hmm, okay. There may have been somebody in your life that was spreading rumors about you, that was trying to tear something down that you had created, or something down that you were trying to create. And whatever that illusion was that they had tried to create, or whatever it was that they were trying to tarnish, has gone into flames and has burned down. And that burning down, that energy of burning down, there is a resurrection within that space. But for you, it is this freedom from this energy, this freedom from this person. For that person, they are starting to see that you are not one to mess with. They are starting to see that they attacked the wrong person. And whatever it is that you do spiritually, your own connection to spirit, your own connection to God is, hmm, again, I don't know what you do because this is a collective reading, but there's something there that it's like, don't you come after my Taurus, specifically whoever, whichever this Taurus is that it's coming for. And somebody tried to, somebody was tempted to come after you, somebody was tempted to play with fire, and they got burned. And you're walking it, you're just like, I tried to tell this person to leave me alone, I tried to warn this person not to mess with me. And it is not necessary that you had to do anything, it's not necessary that you came after this person, or that you attacked this person, or whatever it was. It was just like, um there was something about like the knowing of what happens to people when they come at you in a certain way, right? It's a lot of people don't understand that a lot of the reasons why they're stuck in life, right? Why they're not progressing, it is because not necessarily because they're not trying to, is also because of the way that they're connecting with other people. There are just certain people that you just do not mess with. There are certain people that you do not come after, because when you do, you're going to learn certain very hard lessons. And for this period of time, and I'm not saying that it's just Taurus, okay? So, right? That we all have this space within ourselves, and for whatever the reason, this is the Taurus space to be that person. There is an anointing over like this Taurus energy during this time, that we do not mess with Taurus. Whatever it is that collectively is happening for Taurus during this time, there is no outside influence energetically allowed, and people are going to learn that. People are going to experience that, and I really do like this energy for you, because it finally feels, from your perspective anyways, Taurus, that spirit that your spiritual team is finally showing up, that your spiritual team is finally being loud, and they're finally being as stubborn as you are when it comes to the direction that you're wanting to go in life. And again, I really do like this energy. I really like the way that you are walking in this space. I do not necessarily see you gloating about it or anything like that. I do, again, there is this very much grounded energy that a lot of you guys are in, that I really do love. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. Anything else that Taurus needs to know, Spirit? I want to see this, because I'm looking at one card that is like sticking out for me. And it's like looking at me, and it's the clock. Need time takes time, and for some reason, it's like this is the time for Taurus. This is the time for Taurus. So we have the coffee cup, which talks about meeting and conversing. We have the Cupid's arrow, have faith, love is coming. And we have the indulgence, focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. And I feel that a lot of you are definitely in have been in this space of like really pouring into yourself, right? And as you choose to pour into yourself, more things start to fall into alignment, right? Because now you're showing up from your true self, who you truly are. And I really like this energy of a lot of you just, oh, and look what we have here. Phoenix, they rise well from the ashes, whether it's your ashes or somebody else's. And to be honest with you, I feel that this is the ashes of somebody else. Like, you're just like, baby, I told you not to come after me in that way, and you still did. Let's go ahead and let's get a closing message for Taurus. A closing message for Taurus. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution and expression. So a lot of you, as you're moving through, you're navigating this space. Let's put it this way. Whoever it was that was talking about you, whoever it was that was doing whatever they were doing to destroy something that you were creating or whatever, like a lot of you are finally in the space of like, okay, now I can take the stage. Now that all the false narrative has fallen to the ground, now I can speak my truth. And I feel that that's what a lot of you are doing. Alrighty, so Gemini. And before I get started, kids just got home from school, so just FYI. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. Gemini, for this week, there is okay. Um, I need you to step away from any old dialogue that may be resurfacing this time. I need you to, this week for a lot of you, the challenge is going to be, excuse me, this, how do I word it? Because it is a it is a mental struggle in the sense of like an outdated dialogue is resurfacing for whatever the reason. You may have posted something and somebody said something in one of these posts, and then it brought back this old dialogue, either from childhood or from your past relationship or whatever it was, and you need to stop. If you're getting overwhelmed or you are getting overstimulated when it comes to like social media and things like that, then learn to take breaks, because going back to an old dialogue that you are aware is old is kind of like, what's going on here? Like, are you wanting? It almost feels like you're choosing to to stay stuck within a certain space. So if you find, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. Yeah, there are moments where you're doing something, and there may be a flash from the past that comes by, and you're just like, oh, but you need to learn to catch that and move on from it, not get dragged into it, right? Sometimes these dialogues or these flash from the past come through just to give you a reminder, like, oh, that's the way that I used to think. Oh, that's the way that I used to do something. Not necessarily for you to go backwards into it. And I feel that that's where this balance needs to happen for you guys, where some of you guys really get when something resurfaces for you, you feel like you have to meet it head on, or you have to go and dissect it, or you have to go and do whatever it is with this energy, and that's not necessarily the case, right? So for those of you that this is coming in a form of a person coming towards you, why is okay, I'm seeing a pig. For some reason it's like plain and simple, it is a pig. What do pigs signify spiritually? I have no idea, my love. All I know is that I don't eat it. I don't eat pork. My body just does not like it. But anyways, when I look up I'm gonna see if I can find the pig spiritual meaning quick. Um, so the pig represents abundance, fertility, and prosperity. Symbolizes luck and prosperity. So for whatever the reason is like there is this major shift happening for you guys, and this is probably why the pig is coming along. It's like, hey baby, like I'm here to bring you this luck, this prosperity, this abundance, this change in your life. But it's like you can derail the pig, and let's put it this way, like go in a different path, if you allow yourself to fall into this old dialogue, if you allow yourself to fall into this old narrative that hasn't served you in a really long time. So if something is finally coming to pass for you, if you're finally seeing the growth in something, the momentum in something, please, 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 from the bottom of my heart, do not fall back into the old narrative when it comes to moving forward. So we have the Hermit in the reverse, Death in the reverse, the King of Swords. And I see, yes, I said the King, and it is a female in this picture. These are all females in all of these. So there is this space here of no longer, you're being asked to no longer sit in the space of allowing things just to keep on repeating themselves, is what I'm picking up. You have to, at some point or another, Gemini, you're gonna have to stand up and fight certain battles, right? And in this battle that I'm asking you to fight during this week, it is when that outdated dialogue tries to sneak in. And again, this outdated dialogue may try to sneak in through like another person, through a comment, through something that catches you off guard, right? It catches you off guard, and you're just like, ooh. Like the other day, I was having a conversation. Not the other day, it was yesterday, because today's Monday. So on Sunday, I was having a conversation with a couple of people, and something came up that I haven't heard in years, and I said, "Oh, that is in relations to A, B, C, and D." And somebody thought that I was getting triggered, and I'm like, "No, like this is the first time I'm able to talk about this without getting triggered." But this is like, and it was something that we were talking about. I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that in connection to this other stuff." And the reason why I'm not sharing the whole story is because it's not only my story to share, right? So my portion of it was that there was a word that used to trigger me for many, many, many years, and I heard it, and I was like, I remembered, right, what that word symbolized for me. And I remembered very subtly the feelings, the emotions, and the everything. And then it was just like, we're no longer in that space. And then I sat there, like, as I'm sitting with them talking, and I'm just like in awe with myself, like, wow, like, are you effing kidding me? Like, that's not triggering me anymore, right? And it's almost kind of like I myself could have triggered myself if I would have gone down that road, like that trying to dissect something that does not need to be dissected, right? It just wanted, it was almost kind of like this quick reminder that Spirit was like, hey, remember when this used to upset you? And it doesn't anymore. And like, you have to look at it from that perspective, okay? So we have what, I don't even know how to say this word. But I'm not even gonna try because ahí viene my Spanish and my English. So double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So for a lot of you, this realizing this week of whatever this dialogue was, right? Whatever it was, look at it as part of your training. Look at it as part of the training process that you're going through in this lifetime, because you really need to get to a place, Gemini, where you're stepping up. You really need to get to a place where you're standing within your purpose when it comes to your spirituality. And I don't care what that looks like. I don't care whether that's reading tarot, whether that is at a church, whether that is at a synagogue. I don't care what it looks like, but there is a purpose here for you. And again, a lot of you, for whatever the reason, like to stay stuck in loops that are not allowing you to progress. Okay. Okay. Of Cancer. Cancer, you're dealing with somebody this week that has a lot of double standards when it comes to life. Whoever this individual is, whether it's at work or is romantically, you're getting fed up and you're calling somebody out on their BS. You're calling somebody out on this energy again of like this double standard. It's like you're just done and over with it, Cancer. Um, for some of you, there is a space of needing to needing to find a safe way to vent, needing to find a safe way to release certain energies, to release certain stressors, right? Now, these stressors, excuse me, can be mentally, they can be physically, right? If you're overworking yourself at work and you have a very demanding physical job, a way to release that stress could be going for a run, can be going for a swim, right? Like something that physically needs to happen in your body to release some of that energy, right? That build up. If this is more like a mental load, it's like, meditating, going for walks, or listening to music or whatever it is, but they're or like talking to somebody. Like a lot of people sometimes are against like therapists or psychiatrists, and it's like, you know what? They're just tools that, sometimes depending on where you are in your life, you may need it, and that's perfectly fine. So maybe you just need somebody to just listen to you rant for a couple of hours, right, or a couple of times a week or whatever it is, so that you're not holding so much in. Right? Because it's really starting to take a toll on your physical body. Whether this load is mentally or physically, it is definitely taking a toll on your actual physical body. And Spirit is asking you to address that and not to allow it to continue. So for a lot of you, this does have to do with this, like this double standard energy of like somebody has this double standard, like you're dealing with somebody that has like a double standard perception of a life. That's the way that I'm looking at it. And for whatever the reason, that causes this this overload energy when it comes to your life, whether this is at work or in your own personal life. It's like it is quite irrelevant how it is showing up, but it is just the energy itself that is showing up. And it really causes something within you that just kind of just I don't know, it's like it throws you off. Maybe this is you may be the person that is exhibiting this double standard, right, where you're telling people, and I don't know if I should really use the word double standard, but it's like you're giving people advice of how much rest is so important and this is so important, but then you are you're like overdoing yourself and I gotta get rest. It's like you're not taking your own advice. That type of energy, whether it's you or somebody that you are connected to, but that energy in itself has a lot to do with what it is that you're being asked to address this week. All right, give me one card, spirit, one card, one closing card for Cancer, Spirit. Oh, excuse me. Um, who just Gemini just had this? Share your voice. Come out of the cave. So again, for a lot of you, this is just gonna be simple, like talking, therapist, etc. There is a needing to, either you need to start taking your own advice, or you have to look outside of yourself for advice, or for guidance in something, because there's something here where you know what it is that needs to be done, but you're still avoiding it. Like if your goal for the beginning of this year was to get more rest or to become more balanced when it came to work, and we're almost closing off this year based on this calendar, and it's like you're still doing the same crap, right? You're still doing the same thing. Yes, the calendar, based on this calendar. um Anyways, and if you're still doing the same thing, there something's got to give during this time. Okay, Cancer. Okay. Leos. Leos, there are things that all right. And Leos, I love you guys. I really, really, really do. I know some amazing Leos. There is this energy of and this is not going to be for all of you, obviously, right? This is whoever needs to hear this. There is this energy of like the spirit is showing you guys the truth in something in a way that you don't want to accept it, in a way that you do not want to receive it. And what do I mean by that? If this is something spiritually and you are still in the fence about religion, etc., you're being shown the truth on something and something completely opposite, right? If you're more spiritual, the truth is going to come through some verse, some quote, something that is in regards to a religion. And and what this is doing specifically for you, Leo, is showing you how in certain spaces in your life you have limited yourself in what has been trying to come in, right? So like, if this is an advice, some type of advice or something is coming in from, it's coming in from an un what is the word that I want to use? Because it's like, and all I keep on hearing is like an unwanted source, an unwanted source. So like, you have your divorced friend telling you, giving you advice on marriage, and you're just like, bitch, you're divorced. Like, yeah, that's how I can give you advice as to like what I did wrong or what I didn't do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but again, there's some stigma, something that you're putting on the source that is bringing you the message, and it's like you need to look past the messenger, past the source that is coming in, and receive the message itself. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes I'll say like I'll wake up and I want to go and I want to flip through my Bible. There's something in there. I've had a Bible since like 2004 that was gifted to me, and I use it on a regular basis, right? Because the whole point of this journey is to learn, right? To evolve and to grow within it, and I don't limit myself as to how it is that a message is going to come through. Right. But I also have that discernment to know when the message is coming directly from spirit or if it is somebody else with an agenda, right? And I feel that maybe this hesitation from you guys about not wanting to receive a certain message from a specific source is because maybe when the messages were coming from that type of source or whatever, there was always a hidden agenda within that space, right? Um, and spirit is trying to show you that that doesn't always have to be the case, that you have to learn how to use your own discernment to realize when a message is coming specifically from spirit. Okay. There is definitely a sense here. Again, this is shattering someone's reality or someone's perception of a specific reality. There is definitely this dialogue that is happening back and forth where somebody really doesn't want to accept the truth in something because of how it is that is coming in or whom it is that is coming from. And you're gonna have that's gonna be one of your biggest challenges this week. It is stopping with that limited mentality when it comes to a certain message, especially like for a very very long time when I first left church, and even before I decided to put my gifts out there for the world to see, I had a very hard time accepting when messages were coming from um from a specific religion, right? And I had to work through I had to work in that space as to why was it triggering so much, right? And I had to get to the understanding in order to be able to like honestly understand myself, my inner self, as to why something was triggering me when it came from specific sources. Now when they just come, I just look at them like, okay, is this coming from spirit or is this coming from somebody else, somewhere else? Give me a closing message, Spirit, for Leo. A closing message for Leo. Hmm. Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. It is divinely guided. So again, let's listen to the message. Let's pay attention to the message and forget who the messenger is. Right? And sometimes you have to look at life that way, and that's exactly what you're being asked to do, Leo. Okay, Virgos. Yeah, we are at Virgos right now. Virgo, there is a ooh, what is this body of water that I'm seeing here? And I do apologize in advance for the noise with the ball because I kind of like I want to be moving. That's kind of like what the energy feels like. This flowing energy, this flowing of like abundance, this flowing of like knowledge, this flowing of something, and it is all being surrounded. It's weird the way that it's coming up because it's like it is surrounding a body of water, right? So like the way that it's being shown is like the pond, right? But within the pond, and bear with me guys because I have no idea what this is, right? So it's like you have the pond, right? We have this water from like the pond, and it's like within the pond there's like, I don't want to say an island because it's really not an island because it's not an ocean that is showing me either. I'm being completely honest. This is like in someone's actual like property. I don't know. But there is this flow of like the water is just flowing, right? And it's just bringing everything with it, right? It's bringing the abundance, it's bringing the joy, it's bringing the love, it's bringing the financial freedom, it's bringing all of this stuff. But then within that, in the middle, the inside of this pond, there's stillness. And what I like about that energy is like this grounding energy of like, no matter how much something blows up for you during this time, how much something grows for you during this time, how much acknowledgement you get, or how much anything you get during this time, you're very much in this space of being grounded. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna put my hair up. And this grounding energy, it's like this grounding and humbling energy is so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see. It's really amazing actually to see, because again, somebody is looking at you and they're like, how can Virgo stay so humble with everything that is coming in for them, with everything that has manifested for them? And I really do. Yeah, you can see my hair right there. So as you guys know, I am growing locks, so just um you know, my hair is locking eventually. So it's just kind of like, whoa. Anyways, I don't know why I got off topic. I really do like this energy for you guys, this grounding energy. And I know I feel kind of like I kind of feel like I've been saying this for a while, where there is this multitude of about abundance coming in for you guys. And you guys, for some of you, the past few weeks, the past few months, you've been preparing yourself, right? It's like there was this prayer, or this intentional, I want to. Part of me wants to say prayer, but a part of me wants to say like this intentional spell, right? Where you were speaking out, regardless of whatever you want to call it. Let's just put it that way. Because I know that there's a difference between the two, but a lot of people use them interchangeably. There was the dialogue that you started to use started to change. Instead of asking, you were coming from a place of gracefulness. You were coming from a place as if something had already come to pass. So you learn to sit in a space of what is the word I'm looking for? Like something had like you had already received something. And when you started to stand or sit, I don't know why I'm going back and forth. Within that space, that's when things started to change, right? So if you're still in that space of like, oh, I want this, or I'm waiting for this, then that dialogue needs to change for you, because that dialogue of like, I want, I need, is the dialogue that is keeping you stuck. It is the dialogue that is not allowing what is already there for you, what you are already in alignment with, to come in, right? Sometimes with our words, we hold things hostage, or we push things back, because we're letting the universe know that we are yet not ready for it. Closing message: Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. So again, whatever this abundance is going to be, there your spiritual team is definitely behind it. They're definitely working with you. There are connections that you're having, Virgo, that are definitely going to allow you to continue on growing, going to allow this abundance to continue on coming into your life. And I really do love this energy for you. Libras. All right, Libra, there's a few things that are surfacing this week for you guys. Do not do not run from it. And I keep saying run because I feel like for a very long time, Libras, you guys were running from a lot of things. There are situations in your life that you have been working towards changing, towards rewriting, right? Now, whether this is financially, romantically, it is irrelevant. We're talking about the energy itself. And this week, you're going to have the beautiful opportunity to see if you have really if you've done the work within that specific space, if you're really gonna stand true in what it is, is there any kind of messing with me right now? Is there any substance to your word, Libra? That is what this week is about. is there any actual substance to your word? If you say you were going to do something, are you showing up that way? If you say you're not going to do something, if you say you're not going to engage with somebody, are you really going to hold on? Because I feel that there's somebody here that is reaching out, and you, some of you Libras are caving. Some of you Libras are, um, and to be all honest, like, my love, you have resources. You have your spiritual teams. You have friends. You have mentors. You have whatever. Use your resources. One of the things that we sometimes forget, especially as we're walking this path, is that we do have resources, and our resources are there to help us. They're there whether it is to hold us during a time, whether it is to hold us accountable, whether it is to encourage us, whatever it is that we need at that moment in time, they are there. And it is a huge dishonor to yourself and to those that are there as your support system when you do not use them. When you do not use, when I say use, is not in the term that you're thinking of, right? It's like utilizing that energy that is available for you, right? And that is what you're being asked, because you are in a very, like, there's something here again of an energy that you say you no longer want to be a part of. There's something that you're saying you no longer want to be a part of, that you no longer want to be a part of. And spirit is like, okay, here is the energy. What are you going to do when this energy presents itself? Like, are you really adamant about not being a part of this energy, or are you going to fall for it? And for a lot of you, there is this needing to seek help to meet this energy as it comes through, right? Whether it is like, if if you have a job that is constantly asking you to work overtime, and you said no, I'm going to set these boundaries where I'm not going to work past this many hours of overtime or whatever it is, and your job is calling you, and you're like this close to breaking your own boundaries, then maybe make flat plans with somebody so that you can get out of the house. Like, there is, again, there has to be this thing where you have to take an active step or an active energy within a space, so that you're not falling into like your own trap or something of that matter. This could be, if there's an ex that is reaching out, and like you've blocked them, you've everything, it's like there is this space of, again, like, maybe having somebody on speed dial and be like, hey, I really feel like calling this person, can you just talk to me for like a few minutes, right? Like, this is kind of like if you're having a urge, right? Like, this can be like, you're really wanting a cigarette. It's like and again, we're using the cigarette because I used to be a smoker. And when I used to try to actively quit, I always had a hard time. And when I surrendered to, like, okay, spirit, we need to be done with this, the shift came in, and by the time I realized that I had quit, it had been weeks since I had a cigarette, right? And some of you, this is where you have to ask, like, instead of you trying to be so strong and so this and that to end a cycle or end something, you have to ask for help, right? And however that is going to show. So we have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. Some of you need to come out of this cave, out of this hole that you have put yourself in, because you are afraid to ask for help from your spiritual team. um and when I say ask for help, like, again, it's also like the dialogue that you choose to take, right? So when I wanted to quit like smoking cigarettes, I was like, you know what, I feel that I'm ready for this, but I do not want to deal with A, B, C, and D. I don't want to deal with the sensation of wanting a cigarette, with this, with that. And I was like, when my body, my spirit, my soul, when everything is in alignment to quit, it's just going to happen. And I put it just like that, and I set the intention, and that intention was set last year, and I want to say it was September of last year of 2024. And by, I want to say, like, February, March of 2025, I started to notice different changes within my relationship to cigarettes. I started to go 2 3 days without a cigarette. But again, I was like, nope, I'm just gonna let this naturally happen. And then when I started to notice that those 2 3 days were happening, I started going into the space of gratefulness. Thank you for allowing me, thank you for me going 3 days without smoking a cigarette. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And that's how I was asking for help. I was being grateful for what was already given to me, right? At the beginning, what was given to me was the acknowledgement that something needed to change, right? And that's what I was being grateful for. And then when it started going into a week, when it started going into, and then when it finally went into 2 weeks, I was like, wow. And even then, I tempted myself, and I went out, and because I actually got up, and I was like, oh, I need a cigarette, and I knew that I didn't. And I went to grab a cigarette, and it smelled so horrible. So I was like, oh, it's because it's stale. And I went and I bought another pack, and I opened it, and it smelled the same way. And I sat there, and I was like, when was the last time I had a cigarette? Like, when was the last time I had a cigarette? And at that point, it had been like 15, 16 days since I had actually had a cigarette. And then it was like, at that point, it's like, why even start, right? And that's kind of like the way that it happened. I don't know if that story is going to help you or not, Libra, but that's the way that it came out. Scorpios, Scorpios. Let's go ahead and let's see what's going on with you guys. There is a steady energy, steady. There's a steadiness coming in with your energy, and I really do like this energy for you guys. There, there is the steadiness energy. A lot of you are presenting it physically to the outside world. There is some turmoil inside of you. There's something that some of you are wanting to discuss or wanting to return to. There is this energy of something familiar that you're wanting, something familiar that you're wanting back, or that you're wanting to emerge in it. And what you're being asked to do in this during this time is, Scorpio, learn what the new is within that space, because just because something was familiar doesn't necessarily mean that it was serving you, doesn't necessarily mean that it was healthy for you, right? And whenever we're walking away from something that was familiar, whether it was a feeling, whether it was a person, whether it was an addiction, or whatever it is, it is very difficult when we first start to navigate the space, right, of walking away from a situation, from a person, from whatever. And for some of you, you have this mm, about you, and I'm gonna say where sometimes when you're trying to release something, you're trying to let go of something, you easily become attached to something else, and you need to address why that is, why that happens, why you do this, why you allow that to happen. Nobody's shaming you here, nobody's anything. Just address it, because then there is a level of suppression here, of some type of sensation that you're not allowing yourself to experience, of something that wants to be released, something that wants to be let go of, that you're not allowing to happen. So if you find yourself like, and again, this is just an example, like you got out of a relationship, you're jumping into another one. If you find yourself having like three, four, five different relationships, and I'm talking about relationships where you're like falling in love with people, and you're telling them you're loving them, you're bringing them around your family and all of this stuff, and it's like these relationships, these love bombing relationship are lasting 3, 4 months top, something's got to give. What are you looking for in these people that you feel that you yourself do not have, right? And there's a difference, guys, for those of you like, oh, you don't know. No, there's a difference between dating. Yes, you can date multiple people, you're getting to know people, and this and this and that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this energy where it's like you skip the you go from talking to like madly in love with somebody, you skip the dating, the getting to know, the this and that, and it's like when the two of you finally get to know each other, it's like boom, all these red flags were there from both of you, and things crumble down. And it's like you're in the same repetitive energy is what I'm picking up, right? Whether this is work related, whether this is, is this energy of like, again, trying to replace something or someone with something else, and it's not working, it's always blowing up in your face, and it is time to address it. Okay. All right, Scorpios. Now that I go have a conversation with my girls. Now let me stop. Um, but these are some of some of these things that live within our shadows. When we don't address them, when we don't shine a light to them, then they continue on. For a lot of you, there is a space of like not knowing. Some of you are navigating the space of learning to stand alone, learning to be alone. And again, this reading very much feels for those of you that this is affecting you romantically. um, for a lot of you, again, there is something familiar that you're looking for, you're searching for in different people, and it is not yielding the results that you're looking for. So if you are reaching to somebody from your past, then just be aware that what was once there is no longer there, and the dynamic of your relationship with that person from the past is going to be different, and that may trigger some of you, that may make some of you upset, but I'm just telling you how it is. You can definitely reach out, but do not expect the same outcome. Okay. All right, Scorpios. Alrighty. What is up with this card and everyone today? Like, it's almost. I told you guys, like 6 or 7 signs that had the same closing message, and it's to share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. Again, there are things within our shadows that are trying to be free. There are things within our shadows that are trying to emerge, and we really got to get into a space where we are allowing these voices, this part of ourselves, to come out. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you are, what is that you're doing behind the scenes? Um, I'm being shown like the structural, like the bone structure of a body, right? Like the skeleton bone structure of whether it's a human or an animal, whatever. The whole point is like the skeleton structure, right? It's something that people do not see, right? They see the skin, they see the hair, they see the outer portion, right? But the skeletal structure is what holds you upright. Is what ugh, is what. Oh my God, what is going on here? It is what determines how you stand, how you sit, how you move, how your body moves, how your legs, your arms, etc. Right? Whether you can bend your finger, whatever it is, right? So it's like that energy. It's like you are that skeleton, the muscular skeleton of something. You're that foundation, whether it is in your home, whether it is at work, whether it's in a relationship. But you have been neglecting that aspect of yourself, right? So like when we look at it, people that are not moving their body around, when they're not stretching, when they're not working out, when they're not doing things to benefit their skeletal system, right? So that it can continue on working properly and it can continue on benefiting them, right? So for a lot of you, that is kind of like what you're being reminded this week. It's like, hey, you are that foundation, you are that behind the scene that nobody really sees, but that is holding everything together within this space. So you also need to address and you also need to take care of yourself. You also need to allow yourself to be put first, to be seen, um to be appreciated, to be loved, and all of that. And it's like for a lot of you, there is this resistance to being acknowledged, this resistance to being like you want it, but there's something within that space that is kind of like, oh, what about the A, B, C, and D that comes within that space? And it's like, you know what? There's you're not going to be able to please everybody. You're not going to be able to connect with everybody, and that's perfectly fine. So just, or the only thing that you can really do, Sag, is show up as yourself every single time. And those that are meant to be part of your tribe, those that are meant to be in your life are going to show up, and those that are not going to, and that's perfectly fine. And you're needing to come to terms with that space, with that energy of like whatever people, people are going to talk no matter what. The question here is, what is it that you're choosing to do? Are you going to stay silent? Are you going to hide? Or are you going to allow yourself to be yourself? Because again, there is this notion of like somebody really not wanting to show the truth, that you're the one holding something down, right? So maybe financially, maybe you're the breadwinner in your relationship, and maybe because, let's say, and this is just an example, guys, you are a female, you don't want to let other people know that you're the breadwinner because you don't want your husband to feel ashamed or this or that. Like it's kind of like that type of take that I'm getting here. Okay. But you should also be acknowledged. You should be celebrated for being the one holding it down at the house, in your house, in your household, or whatever it is. And it could be that it's something that is happening temporarily, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be something that that is long term, but for whatever the reason, that space, you need to be able to celebrate yourself and to really take care of that part of yourself. The star mother, how can you mother yourself? How can you show up for yourself during this time? How can you mother yourself? How can you give to yourself? How can you pour into yourself during this time? Capricorns, Capricorns. What is, when I think about lava, I think about, because that's what really pretty much is coming up. Like there's a volcano erupting, and excuse me, guys, let me just turn off this thing. There is a volcano erupting, and what I keep on seeing is the lava. And I'm like, okay, what is the significance of lava? Because like when we talk about like lava, when it comes in contact with other things, it destroys, right? It burns things to the ground. But after everything is destroyed, the certain foundations sometimes have to be destroyed in order to give space for something new to be born, something else to be rebirthed. And the spiritual um association with lava, or the spirituality lava, in spirituality, I'm just gonna read it. In spirituality, lava is associated with strength, grounding, and rebirth. It is considered a stone of transformation and stability, connecting the user to the earth energy. And for a lot of you guys, this is, and I actually have a necklace that is made from lava stone hanging up here. that was a gift. And for a lot of you guys, is this rebirth energy is coming in very subtle. Is coming in for those of you that are female. Some of you are going to be when whether it is this week or next week or however it comes. This rebirth energy is coming during your cycle. It is something that you're going to notice, this shift within yourself, this shift of the way that you're carrying yourself, the way that you're speaking, and the way that you're responding to things. There's going to be this subtle shift that is going to start about, I want to say, like 12 to 24 hours before your actual cycle, moon cycle begins. And this is going to be very, there's going to be a very profound space for you guys, a very profound week for you guys whenever it is that you're watching this. So if, like, let's say if your cycle is not due for like another week or another 2 weeks, then this is for you to start preparing for it, right? There is something that holds a space. And again, this is just guidelines, guidance from my own personal experiences. When I manifest, again, when I manifest, I do manifest a lot. But when I said a specific manifestations during my cycle, and I fast, and when I say fast, I'm like going on water only for an extended period of time while I'm on my cycle, the entire time that I'm on my cycle. There is and I do not know all the properties behind it or anything else like that, so I cannot speak on that. I'm just speaking on like my own personal spiritual experience. When I do that during those times, I've had major manifestations happen to me where my jaw drops, right? And again, with anything, I don't really take anything ritualistic. I don't get attached to any one specific practice or one specific way, because I know that I'm here to learn of many different types of spiritual practices and spiritual ways of doing things, and to share that knowledge with the collective, right? But there are times like where I would, you could say, kind of like forget about it, that is something that exists, right? But when it is something that is needed for a specific manifestation, let's put it that way, and I'm still, learning within this process, I would do it, but I never do it intentionally, if that makes sense, right? So I would sit down with myself and talk about what I want to manifest and this and this and that. And then I'll say like, oh, I'm gonna fast for like 3 days or 4 days or whatever it is, and then boom, at that moment in time when I say that, my cycle starts. And I'm like, oh, you weren't due for like a couple of like days, or you weren't due for another week, right? And it just comes into alignment, because that is the way that whatever that space wanted to be manifested within me, right? There was something within the fasting state and my moon cycle, things just had to come into alignment in a specific way to get into alignment with that frequency. And if you get what I'm saying, you get it. If it's too confusing, maybe this message is not for you. But that is the way that I'm picking it up. It's like there is this rebirth happening, and it is happening in this space that has very much to do with your moon cycle and manifest. So it includes your moon cycle, manifestation, and fasting. Maybe you have manifested things in the past when it came to your moon cycle, or when it came to you fasting, or when it came, whatever it was. And it's like there is a combination, there is a way of combining the three that works specifically for you in order to help you manifest this next stage of your life. Now, the thing here is, again, not getting overly attached um to a specific ritual, or not getting overly attached to having something be perfect, is what I'm picking up here. um and there's also like, there's no, like, I shared my experience with you guys, again, as a guideline. I'm not giving you all the full details, because that is personal to myself, right? And to how I connect directly. But it's almost kind of like that, like, just because you're going to be doing something doesn't mean that you have to share it with everybody. Doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and be like, oh, no, I'm on my moon cycle, I'm fasting and I'm manifesting, so I cannot do that. No, that's not how it works. I'm sharing with you things that I've done in the past, right? Not something that I'm actively doing, right? Because I feel that when you are doing very specific things at that moment in time, they have to be sacred, and they have to be between you and your spiritual team, whomever that is, whether it is, a specific spirit, whether it is your entire spiritual team, whether it is a specific deity that you work with, whatever it is that you work with or you connect with, right? Um, so we have two cards that wanted to come out. We have the Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So again, there is this huge rebirth that is happening for you guys. And we have the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It is happening for you, not to you. Okay, so this rebirth that is happening, that whether it is that you're releasing past patterns, you're unbounding yourself from restrictions from the past. Allow whatever that is, however that looks like for your life, allow it to come in. Stop resisting so much and just allow yourself to receive. Now when we talk about things that are happening for us and not to us, a lot of people always go into the space of like, oh, that's something bad. No, this can be abundance, this can be financial abundance happening. And again, it is not happening to you, it is happening for you. It is happening because of all the things that you did. It is happening because of the plans that are ahead, the things that you're walking into. So again, do not read a title in something and automatically go into this negative state of mind. Okay, Aquarius says, Aquarius, um there was an initial, there's gonna be like this initial a fire that is gonna, like, there's an initial fire that is lit, that this motivated, this motivation, this, ooh, I want to go after this, I want to do this, you're coming in with this fire, with this drive. And as soon as this fire comes, it kind of settles down. And then what is it that you're going to do in that space when the initial motivation or the initial um that feeling high or whatever it is within a space is gone? Are you going to then give up on this, or are you going to like tackle down on it, if that makes sense? There's something here for those of you that are looking to see how to keep a fire burning. There's something here of, and this is the way that it's coming up, so you take it as you want, that for those of you that are experiencing an increase in sexual energy, um feeling like sexual sensations and things like that, remember that that is that same energy can be used for it's the same la 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 la, stop, there's too much coming in at once. So the same energy that is the same sexual energy that comes in through like sexuality, like sex, whatever it is, like the sensation of sex and things like that, it is the same energy that um is like the creative energy, that creation energy. So just because it is coming in a sexual way doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're supposed to be acting on. Maybe it is coming in a way so that you can harness that energy into a creative field, into a creative way, to be able to continue with the initial fire or something that came in for you, if that makes sense. And for those of you that this message is for you, it's like in the past, you've sensed this energy, and you may have gotten confused that maybe you know there is a different ways to use certain energies for manifestations and things like that. And the way that this specific energy shows up for you, it is meant to be used creatively and not in the other way that you've been using it. So kind of keep that in mind. And you, and as with everything else, always use your own discernment. Because again, there may be times when that sexual energy is meant just for that, but a lot of the times when we are overstimulated and when we don't give ourselves a chance of fasting from that space, it can become too much, and we can miss the signal as to how it is that the energy actually wants to be used during this time. And again, the way that this is coming up is like there is this when it comes in as in a creative way, like, oh, you should do this, it is a fire that dies very easily for you guys, just something that you guys normally do not follow through with. But when it comes in through like a sensual or sexual energy, a lot of you are paying more attention to it. So it's almost kind of like this energy is coming in a different way, but it wants to be utilized as a creative energy for that initial fire that was entered, or that was given to you. Your closing message, Aquarius, is soul family. Call in your tribe. You do not have to do this alone. So calling your spiritual tribe, whether that is somebody that is physically there or this is your spiritual team, call them in, ask for guidance on how to just like have the discernment of how it is that this energy is to be used during this time. Pisces. All right, let's try this a little, because you're a lot of you Pisces are dealing with somebody that is emotionally unstable. You have to be aware of this person, or how it is that you're connecting to this person, how it is, what it is, and how it is that you're allowing this person to show up in your life. Whether this is a significant other or a family member, there is somebody that you're surrounding yourself that really needs, they need some assistance, they need some help, emotionally, they need to seek help. This is somebody that takes out their emotional frustrations and angers and things like that towards you. They want to bring you down to this, to the level where they are, to how it is that they are feeling, and you need to address this. This needs to be addressed. This cannot continue on. For a lot of you, this is about you walking away from this type of energy, you walking away from this person, not tolerating this. Like you really need to set boundaries, because you have allowed yourself to be pulled in by this person in a way that it is starting to, it is almost kind of like, whether you are aware of it or not, you're starting to feel the way that they feel. It's almost kind of like they're transferring like their emotions and their whatever like towards you, or you're taking it on. I don't know if it's that you're trying to understand this person, or you're trying to have sympathy for this person. I don't care what it is, to be honest with you, Pisces. I do not like this energy of you taking emotional burdens that are not yours as if they are your own. It is not yours. It is not for you to take, and you need to stop. You need to stop, and you need to stop that now. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you're gonna, for some of you, you're gonna have to like make, to actually have some physical distance between you and this person, because you're not sticking to the boundaries that you have set. You cave in very quickly to this person. You allow this person to manipulate you, and it's like you don't realize it until you're deep down into it, if that makes sense. And so this does need to be addressed. This does need to, you need to put a stop to it. Is basically what I'm saying. Let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for your closing message. So we have, don't dim, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So again, you may stop sharing certain things with this person, or you're not sharing your success or your happiness or your joy with somebody because of the simple fact that you don't want them to feel bad. You're, and it's like, I am all for being there and supporting people during their hard time and things like that. But you also have to know at what cost is it coming at, right? How is it affecting you when you're only showing up for somebody else, but you're not showing up for yourself? When you are not respecting your own boundaries, and that is a fine line that everybody has to learn as to what it is that works for them and what doesn't. We have take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. You're needing to take a break from this type of energy. You're needing to take a break. Like I said earlier, some of you are needing physical distance from this person because of the way that it's starting to affect you personally, emotionally. And as much of a good heart you want to have, big heart, you want to be there, you want to be supported. Um, hey, I'm for it, but set your boundaries and stick to them. Stop going over your own boundaries, and do not allow this person to drag you to the space where they are themselves right now emotionally.